So now we can talk about building on strengths versus focusing on mistakes. If somebody important to you spends a lot of time telling you what you do wrong, you come to believe that there is more wrong with you than right. If that important person yells or sounds disgusted with you, it hurts even more. If he calls you names or attacks your character, you might even start to believe that you're as bad as he's saying that you are. Ironically, it becomes harder to do things right because you're so worried about making mistakes and causing further disappointment. Maybe you have worked hard to correct a problem or improve your behavior, and all she notices is what's not right. You feel that your effort has not been appreciated, and you wonder why you should bother to try again in the future. You lose motivation and your performance drops further, which prompts more discouraging comments, and so finally you feel like a certified loser. And that's how a child feels when his parents constantly point out his mistakes and seem to only see his weaknesses. The ways that parents do this might be a little bit more subtle than you would expect. So it might sound like, hey, I noticed you left your glass in the den last night. How many times do I have to ask you to be more considerate? Or this doesn't look good when you colored outside the lines, does it? Or did you notice how easily your man beat you down court for that basket? You've really got to hustle back on defense. So the bank method here, kids do need to know what mistakes that they've made in order to learn from the experience and do better in the future. So we're not suggesting that you never mention these things. The error a lot of parents make is to point out the mistakes and the misbehavior, but ignore the successes and the positive behavior. So a key to building successful behavior is to focus the majority of your feedback on what your kids are doing right. This builds their confidence and motivates them to want to keep improving. In fact, if you and your child are locked in a power struggle or a revenge cycle and you want to break out, find something about the child that you like. Focusing your attention on what's right rather than what is wrong is tremendously encouraging to the child. And as we've seen, encouragement leads to improvement of self-esteem, and that's going to lead to courage and positive behavior. So in other words, we're moving into a success cycle. So to help you to remember how to use this important aspect of encouragement effectively, we want to keep in mind the letters BANK, bank. Baby steps, acknowledge, nudge, and keep encouraging. Just as a bank is a place where resources are invested for growth, you can use the bank method to help your child build their personal assets and grow into a successful human being. So we're going to go over each one of these letters one by one. So the B is for baby steps. Break the learning down into baby steps. Remember, we don't learn to walk all at once. We learn step by step. And this learning process is the same for most things. Whether it's helping a child to learn how to complete their homework or teaching them to be honest, we can break the task down into steps and progress through them one by one. And that's going to make the goal less daunting and allow the child to experience multiple successes along the way instead of just one at the end. So I might say something like, I know school can be difficult, but if we break each assignment down into small steps, you're going to find that you can do it. Or if we want to teach Danny to be honest, let's take it day by day and encourage her every time she tells the truth when she could have lied to us. Then we want to acknowledge. Acknowledge what your child does well. So once we identified a goal for our child, like having good study habits or being honest, we want to get an idea where the child is on that path towards reaching that goal. It's unlikely that he can't read a single word. So acknowledge what he can already do well in order to build confidence and motivation to take the next step. Hey, you're already doing a great job of writing down your homework assignments. That's going to help a lot. Or, I'm not thrilled that you borrowed my things without asking, but I do appreciate you owning up to it when I asked. I appreciate your honesty. It's much more effective to catch them being good than our traditional approach of catching them being bad. So it also helps to acknowledge other areas where the child is already experiencing some success. And that's going to help to build the self-esteem that is going to translate into risk-taking and other successes. So, for example, it was really a pleasure having you out to dinner with us tonight. Your manners were great. Let's do it again soon. Or thank you for helping with the dishes, or it sure is fun to play with you when you take turns with me. The N is for nudge. We want to nudge the child to take the next step. Children get a sense of self-esteem from learning, and whether they're learning a sport, a school subject, or a skill, they get the sense of self-esteem from that. And so, as we have seen, learning requires a lot of different steps and gradual improvement. And it also requires risk, because with each new step, there is the potential for failure. And there are times for all of us when the frustration of not progressing the way that we'd like, it really undermines our courage to persevere, and it tempts us to give up. And this is usually when an encouragement nudge can really help give the child enough courage to take that next baby step. So, for example, I could say something like, long division can be frustrating. I guess you feel like giving up, but if you'll stick with it, I know you'll get it. Look how far you've come already. Now, how about tackling that last problem again? Or I could say, I know it hasn't been easy, but you've really improved in being honest with us, and we're feeling like we can trust you more. So if you still want to spend the night at Carrie's house, it's okay with us. Or, hey, you can do it. Go ahead. Or I might say, let's take a break and then try again. And then the K is for keep encouraging. We want to keep encouraging the improvement and the effort. Arthur Blank, the co-founder of the Home Depot, and he's also the owner of the Atlanta Falcons pro football team, he once said that although he is a highly competitive person, he never sees the finish line. So in other words, life is a process where success is measured in growth and improvement rather than just any single end result. So the mistake most parents make in the encouragement process is to wait until the child attains a desired goal before offering the encouragement. You know, one misguided father actually said that he was waiting for his son to graduate before complimenting him on his schoolwork. Breaking the process down into baby steps really just opens up that opportunity for us to offer encouragement along the entire route. Any improvement, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction, and it should be noticed and acknowledged. Since success is a great motivator, we want the child to be able to experience numerous successes along the way. And this builds self-esteem and keeps the child moving towards the goal. If the child falls back a step, and we are to expect that, they're going to need our encouragement to keep at it and not give up. In fact, their effort alone, even when they're not making progress, should always be encouraged. So, hey, great, you're getting really good at doing your homework at the same time every day. One more day and you're going to have a whole week. Or, hey, thanks for telling us about not turning in your homework on Monday. That took a lot of courage. We're going to talk about what to do about it in a minute, but first I want to let you know how much I admire your effort to be more honest. Or, I can really see the effort that went into this. Or, I really like the way that you stick with it.